Hello, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're actually digging into some real insider secrets from executive communication coaching. If you've already got a solid grip on English, but you're looking to hit that next level of absolute professional precision, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're moving way beyond the basics today to master the nuances of adverbs, phrases, and those tricky little irregularities that can honestly trip up even the most advanced speakers. Let's dive right in.
So, have you ever caught yourself wondering why we just automatically know to say better instead of gooder? Or, why you might catch yourself telling a friend to drive careful when technically it really should be drive carefully? Well, these common little traps are exactly why we're here today. Hitting that level of true fluency and commanding respect in a professional setting, it really requires understanding the hidden machinery of the language. It's all about getting the why behind the rules.
Right, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll be exploring adjectives versus adverbs explained, mastering English adverbs, the logic of adverb modifiers, adjective and adverb phrases, irregular verbs and plurals, and finally, avoiding common grammar traps.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, Adjectives versus Adverbs Explained.
Think about it like this. Adjectives are the paint on a house. They describe the physical stuff, right? A person, a place, a thing. They tell you what color the house is or if it's massive or tiny. But adverbs are the volume dial, or think of them as the engine tuning. They aren't describing the physical thing itself. They're modifying the action, the intensity, the exact manner of the verbs. They tell us exactly how that engine is running.
Let's look at this concept in action. Take the sentence, Tom is a careful driver. Here, careful is an adjective. It's describing Tom, the actual person. But if we just add an ly to the end, we transform that adjective into an adverb. So we get, Tom drove carefully. Now we aren't describing Tom anymore, are we? We're describing the action itself. We're explaining exactly how the driving was done. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering English Adverbs. So the absolutely crucial thing here is wrapping your head around these four main categories. Adverbs tell us the manner, meaning how something happens, like speaking clearly. They tell us time or when, place or where, and frequency, meaning how often, like always or rarely. But listen, the most important takeaway for your day-to-day professional communication is the placement rule. To make your sentences sound perfectly natural, adverbs usually need to go right before the main verb, like he never studies. But if you're using a be verb, like is, am, or are, the adverb actually goes after it. So you'd say, she is always late.
Section 3, the logic of adverb modifiers.
Okay, I absolutely love this analogy. Modifying an adjective with an adverb is literally like applying a photo filter. Think about it. You aren't just sorry in a standard, everyday kind of way. If you toss in an adverb of emphasis, suddenly you are terribly sorry. That adverb acts exactly like a filter that completely changes the degree and intensity of your adjective. It gives you absolute precision over your tone. Let's compare a couple of pairings to see how this works. First, an adverb modifying an adjective. It's a reasonably cheap restaurant. So it's not just cheap, it's reasonably cheap. Now, how about an adverb modifying another adverb? Maria learns incredibly quickly. See how both of these pairings make the underlying meaning so much stronger and way more precise? You can even place adverbs right before past participles to create these beautifully descriptive phrases. Think of a badly organized event or a beautifully written report.
All right, Section 4. Adjective and adverb phrases. When an adjective phrase comes right before the noun it's describing, we call that a compound modifier. And the absolute key thing to remember here for your professional writing, hyphens. You have got to hyphenate these phrases to link the words and avoid any weird ambiguity. Imagine the difference between a large-sized shirt, meaning the size of the shirt is large, and a large-sized shirt. The hyphen is what tells your reader that well-dressed is acting as one single unified adjective describing the lady. You can think of compound adjective phrases as pre-packaged toolkits. They are these established, almost permanent descriptors that you attach directly to a noun, like a user-friendly interface or a 10-year-old project. Simple adverb phrases, on the other hand, are single tools that you use on the fly. They're super flexible, they usually follow the verb, and they quickly adjust the flow of the action right as it's happening. And here is exactly how they look side by side. First, we have a simple adverb phrase. We rarely think. The adverb rarely is simply modifying the verb think. Then we hit our prepackaged compound adjective phrase, user-friendly equipment. It's locked together with that hyphen to modify the noun equipment.
When you combine these two structures correctly, you end up with some highly sophisticated, very professional English sentences.
Okay, section 5. Irregular verbs and plurals.
Let's take a quick look at these completely essential irregular adjectives. Spoiler alert, there is no logical rule here. English can just be funny that way. You simply cannot say gooder. It's good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. And pay special attention to far. While farther and further are definitely often used interchangeably in casual speech, further is actually the precise professional choice when you're talking about metaphorical distance, like let's discuss this further. Now, let's tackle the present perfect simple tense. This is the structure that connects a completed past action straight to the present moment. The formula itself is pretty simple. You take your subject, add have or has, and then attach the past participle. For example, scientists have discovered a new planet, right? They discovered it in the past, but the news is highly relevant right now. Honestly, the tricky part for advanced learners isn't the formula at all, it's just knowing the correct irregular past participle to plug in. Notice how we've grouped some of the most critical irregular verbs here into essentials, movement, and communication. So we have go, went, gone, fly, flew, flown, speak, spoke, spoken. That third column, that's your past participle. And I highly, highly encourage you to practice saying these 3 columns out loud. Seriously. Speaking them aloud builds that muscle memory so that these forms will feel completely natural when you're, say, right in the middle of a high-stakes presentation. And just as verbs can be irregular, well, so can nouns. Regular plurals follow those nice logical rules we all learn. You add an S or an ES, or you change a Y to IES. But then we have the completely irregular nouns that simply have to be memorized. 1 man, 2 men. 1 tooth, a mouthful of teeth. A mouse becomes mice, and life becomes lives. Honestly, internalizing these is what truly shows a deep native-level mastery of the language. All right, on to our final section, Section 6, Avoiding Common Grammar Traps. Oh, this is perhaps the most famous trap of them all. Good versus well. Good is an adjective. It modifies a noun, so your English is good. Well, on the other hand, is almost always an adverb. It modifies the verb. You speak English well. You absolutely cannot say you speak English good. The only time well functions as an adjective is when you are specifically talking about someone's health, as in, I am not feeling very well today. Now, for a really critical warning, words like fast, hard, and late act as both adjectives and adverbs. They literally do not change form. If you add an ly to hard, you don't make it an adverb. You completely change the meaning of the word. For example, he tried hard means he put in a ton of effort. But he hardly tried, that means he put in almost 0 effort. You have to be incredibly careful with words like hardly and lately because they will drastically alter the entire meaning of your sentence. Wow, we have covered a massive amount of ground in this explainer today. We went from phrases to plurals to adverbs of emphasis. So, my final piece of advice for you. Please do not try to memorize everything all at once. The magic number here is 5. Pick exactly 5 new irregular verbs, or maybe 5 new compound modifiers, and just focus on learning and practicing those each day. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Which 5 irregular verbs will you master today to elevate your professional communication? I challenge you to go write 3 present perfect sentences right now using those 5 verbs and start immediately applying this precision in your workplace. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to guide you through our next topic.